So if we examine the nature of the desire, it seems like there's a desire of the soul, and there is a desire of our minds. So in which case it seems that it is better. If it is not, if it is a desire to my mind, it means it's not my desire. Therefore it seems maybe it should be kicked rather than fulfilled. Or what's your vision on it?
I would also distinguish between random thoughts of the mind that pass very briefly and intense desires. If you can kick it, fine. If you can actually do that. If you can really, but you gotta be honest. So if you can't, then what do you do with it? Give it to Krishna, ask him to deal with it. Do you want to know the whole science of desires? So the soul is basically made of desire. That's life. Life means desire. What's the difference between a living object and just something dead? Is that I have desires. When we talk about even personality, we're talking about what does personality mean? How I desire. In the material world, it means how I desire to enjoy. What flavors I like. That's basically what we mean by personality. How am I motivated? How do I relate to others? How do I see the world? So that's originally me, the soul. Now what happens is when I take those desires and express them in the wrong way, the pizza's good, but I'm expressing it in the wrong way. I'm turning it upside down. I'm saying instead of saying the way that I want to reciprocate with Krishna is that I try to please him and I trust him to take care of me, it starts being the way I want to reciprocate with Krishna is I want to just take from him. I'm not going to trust him anymore. I'm just going to try to take. I'm not going to please him. So it's still a desire to have a reciprocation with Krishna, but it changes. And then in order to do that, because I can't really be expressed with the pure soul, so in order to express that, you have to get this machine called the mind. The mind's just a machine. And the mind is suggesting, you could try to do it this way, you could try to do it that way, you could try to do it this way, you could try to do it that way. You'll be able to do it by getting a red Jaguar, you'll be able to do it by getting a big house, you'll be able to do it by getting a healthy body, you'll be able to do it. And we identify with the mind as ourself and think, yes, that's what I want. So best intelligence is to see, okay, why do I want the red Jaguar? Why do I want health? Why do I want this relationship? And go to the root. And why do we want good health? Why do we want good health? We're looking for an eternal, youthful, vibrant life. That's what I want, right? I want to be full of energy and life. So what is it I want? I want to be me. I want to be the soul. Now my desire for bodily health is really a desire to reestablish who I am as a soul. You can look at everything like that. Why do I want the fancy red car? Maybe I want a feeling of freedom. Prabhupada says the need of a soul is for freedom. But the car doesn't give me freedom. Again, realizing I'm a soul gives me freedom. Or maybe I want the fancy red car to impress other people. Why do I want to impress other people? I want some recognition. What's the spiritual root of that? Prabhupada says that if a devotee isn't trying to be recognized by Krishna, his whole life is condemned. Really, I want Krishna to recognize me. I want Krishna to say, well done, good and faithful servant. That's really what my heart's hankering for. And the mind's distorting that. Oh, you want a fancy car. So everybody in the street would go, wow. We want somebody to go, wow. But the person we want to go, wow, is him. You want Krishna to say, wow. Your breast milk tastes like nectar. Whoa. That's what we really are looking for. So with some intelligence, one can see that all of my so-called material desires are A, coming from the mind, and it would be just perversions of something that's a spiritual desire. And then I can just focus on the spiritual desire and let go of the material desire. If you can't do that, if you're still so much identifying with the mind that you think the mind is you and you just can't possibly separate what's me and what's the mind, then we skip it to Krishna. least go to Krishna and say, I want the red car. Just being able to kick out things is pretty hard, because almost all the desires of the mind are some twisting of something that's originally real. And so trying to just kill desires or get rid of them is not very effective. And have you ever noticed that when you try to deny or kill desires, what happens to them generally? They come back stronger. Have you ever noticed that? And if that's your method, then you'll probably think that Krishna consciousness doesn't work. So if every time the mind presents some desire, you try to kick it away or push it away or deny that that you have it. I don't really have this desire. It may kind of retreat for a little while, but it comes back, doesn't it? Keeps coming back. You say, I thought I got rid of this guy. So the real solution is basically to just say, Krishna, everything I want, you're going to take care of. You don't even have to get into them specifically, like why do I want the car and why do I want health and why do I want that. I mean, you can do that too. It's kind of an intermediate stage. You look at things and say, the real reason I want this is because of this. Why do I want friends? Because I'm hankering to be in Goloka Vrindavan and with all my friends. We've got friends, we've got eternal friends. We've got eternal parents and maybe brothers and sisters and all. We have a family. We have a village. We have a community. We're part of it. Why do I want to feel part of a community in this world? Really, I'm looking for that. You can analyze everything. If you look at any material desire, you can look at what's underneath, what's the general root under that desire, and you can see that the general root is really looking for Krishna. That's one way in which the Uttama Bhakta sees that everyone's really a devotee. Because they see that everything everyone's doing is A, they're only working with Krishna. You can't work with anything that's not Krishna. And B, they're really looking for Krishna. They're just looking for it backwards. But they're looking for Krishna. And you can see that with everything that everyone does. That's how the Uttama Adhikari sees that no one's evil. That everybody's just, that's what George Harrison wrote, right, in his preface to Krishna book. Everybody's really looking. So you can see, I'm really looking for Krishna. Everything I'm looking for is looking for Krishna. But once you become convinced of that on a case-by-case basis, and after a while you don't have to look at each case anymore, you just, whatever desire comes, you say, that's not really a desire for Krishna. That's really what it is. And if I have Krishna, that desire will be satisfied perfectly. Then you can look at the mind and say, be quiet. At that point, you can say, I don't want to do it that way. Why don't I want to do it that way? Go away. I know actually how to do it. Just be quiet. That's not how you do it. You do it by meditating on Krishna's lotus feet. That's how I'll get all these desires. Don't try to convince me that I'm going to get it with the car and the husband and the house and the good health and the money and whatever. That's not the way. I know the real way. You're giving me wrong directions. But unless you have the genuine thing, you can't give up the inferior thing. Right? You can't just destroy the inferior thing because it's a perversion of the real thing. But it's a very simple mantra. Krishna will take care of all of my needs. Finish. That's it. Then everything else automatically. The mind says, Krishna will take care of all my needs. Krishna will take care of all my needs. After a while, the mind doesn't go but so much anymore. Maybe sometimes. Every once in a while, the mind wants to go, but! What about this? This is really, 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 really important. You've got to have this thing. Without this thing, you're just going to die. Krishna will take care of all my needs, okay? But suppose he doesn't. That's okay, too. Just be quiet. If Krishna thinks the best way to take care of my needs is leaving me a homeless quadriplegic eating out of garbage cans and nobody likes me anymore, and then that's the way he's going to meet my needs, and that's okay too. Just be quiet. That's ultimately the way to do it. But first you may have to look at a case-by-case basis. But just trying to kill it, can't.